Good morning, everybody. I appreciate you coming to our seminar, coffee chat this morning on direct mail. My name is Paul Millo, and I've been in the direct mail industry. This is my 32nd year. I started my mailing career with the United States Postal Service. I worked there for 7 years. I was a distribution clerk. And then I advanced to supervisor of mail processing and automation and mechanization. And I left there and went to work for a pre-sort bureau and letter shop for 14 years. And then I went to another direct mail company for another 7 years. And all we did, those two letter shops, was direct mail. When it came to Walker 360, Walker 360 does a whole host of other things besides direct mail. They can do digital advertising, marketing, commercial printing, books, all kind of things. So the solutions available here were very robust. And so what we're going to talk about here today is not all those things, but we're going to kind of focus on direct mail. So I'm kind of the resident postal nerd, if you will, here at Walker 360. I'm a certified mail piece quality control specialist. I'm a card-carrying member of the National Postal Museum. So it designates me as a postal nerd. So I always like to start out my seminars with a little bit of postal history, but today in postal history, the SS Central America actually sank, and it had 1 million pieces of mail on it, but it also had 30,000 pounds of gold on it, which is about $550 million in today's dollars worth of gold. Anybody know of another famous mailing ship that sank? They made a movie about it.
The Titanic?
The Titanic. It was the RMS Titanic, and it stands for Royal Mail Ship. They lost over 7 million pieces of mail on that, and it had 5 postal clerks that worked there. It had its own post office. So anyway, now everyone else is a postal nerd too. Okay, so let's focus on the tips and strategies. I advise my clients that direct mail can help you in these 4 main areas, and they are find, win, keep, grow. If you are a business or a nonprofit, you're always looking to find new customers or donors. Once you find them, you got to win them over. And once you have them won over, you have to keep them. And then once you've got them kept, so to speak, you want to grow more business from them. So find, win, keep, grow. There's a 5th category, but that's more transactional, which is like, utility bills. We have to get this out. Tax donation statements. That's more transactional. So find, win, keep, grow. Those are just layman's terms for fancy marketing terms, like prospecting is find, win is acquisition, keep is retention, and grow is branding or loyalty development. So that's what these terms are. I just like to call them find, win, keep, grow. So we're going to give you some tips today on how to find, win, keep, grow. So one things I like to recommend for people who have done a direct mail campaign that may not have been successful or want to avoid any problems in doing theirs is to use a creative brief. We have a creative brief here, and I have these hard copy documents. I can email you all of the documents from today's presentation electronically. But this is a very valuable tool because it makes sure that the customer, the service provider, the designers, the mail people, they're all on the same page about the requirements of the campaign. So this is a nice little tool that tells you what to do. What are we trying to accomplish? What is our audience? Do they have preconceived notions? What is our competition doing? How are we going to measure this? And you kind of walk through that, and then it gives you an example of one, and then there's a space for you to fill in your information. This will help you avoid some kind of mistakes and keep your campaign more successful. And to illustrate that, there is a really great nonprofit here. This is I don't want to call her the name, but it's a really great nonprofit, and it's a kids' home, children's home. And they mail this piece out. It's a great looking piece. But this piece, as it's designed and oriented, is a flat according to postal rules, and they have higher postage rates. If the designers would have caught this, they could have oriented it this way and addressed it this way, and it would have become a letter. What are the implications of that design knowledge right there? Well, they mail 20,000 of these per mailing, and they do it 4 times a year. It's costing them $5,000 more in postage to mail it this way than this way, and they're doing that 4 times a year, so that's $20,000 in postage that they could be saving. So what else could the nonprofit do with $20,000? I mean, that's something that you need to think about, and that's why it benefits you to go through a creative brief, talk to some experts who may have some design tips. Does you no good to the designers make a big giant piece that's going to cost you a fortune to print, and this can cost you a fortune to mail, when there is a suitable alternative that can help you accomplish the same goals at a lesser price. So tip number 1 is use a creative brief. Tip number 2, and if you don't remember anything else about today, remember this right here. Follow the 40-40-20 rule. Okay? Well, what is the 40-40-20 rule? Well, you add those up, it's 100. Well, the first 40 in the 40-40-20 rule is, are you mailing to the right people? Because 40% of your success rate is going to be directly attributable to the quality of your mailing list. The mailing list is huge. So, are you mailing to the right people? Target, target, target. With greater specificity, the greater your response rate is going to be. So, focus on the list. And I got a little bit more, and we'll say about lists in a minute. But the second 40 in the 40-40-20 rule is the content or the offer. Direct mail usually sells offers. The stronger your offer in a direct mail campaign, the stronger the response rate's going to be. Okay? 5% off your first order. I don't know if that's a great offer, because I don't know what my first order is, and I certainly don't know what 5% off of that is. I don't really know what I'm getting. So, you know, what about this? $50 off your first order. Boom, it hits you. If it's relevant to me and it's compelling, that's a powerful offer. You're going to get a great response rate on that. Okay? So, but what if you can't do offers? Like nonprofits, you can't do a 2 buy 1 get 1 free pizza coupon because you don't have any product to give away, so to speak. Well, your offer technically has got to be your content. So tell a compelling story about a child who has benefited from the services of this nonprofit, or show a picture of the hole in the roof before your donations, and then a picture of it after it's been fixed. So you can tell nice stories as your content. Well, what about if you're selling a product? Well, you need to focus on the benefits of the product, not the features of the product. For example, we have some really high-end presses here. And I'm not going to tell you, hey, we have a Heidelberg XL1000 Anacolor, and it has the T1000 pneumatic feeder, and the feeder, and it has the 61000X gear assembly box and the metal ionization plate to ink transfer ability. Well, nobody knows or cares about that. How about you tell them what the press can do for you? It allows you to print faster. It allows you to have quicker turn times. It allows you to be more economical and efficient, so it costs you less. And the quality is outstanding. So those, for example, would be benefits rather than features. So, and then the last 20 in the 40-40-20 rule is the presentation of the mail piece itself. Color always works better than black and white, and personalized always works better than generic. So, Dear Montgomeryan versus Dear Paul, that's going to pull a lot better than a generic title. So, 40-40-20 rule, follow that if you can. So, since the list is the first 40, if you need a list and you're trying to grow or find new prospects, win, keep, whatever your objective is, and let's say that you know that your best, most likely customer is a female between 25 and 35 who has kids between 0 and 10, who is a golfer, and who drives a blue Cadillac. I don't know, but we can find that list for you, very specific list. So here's a list of actual, we can target by interest, age, income, ethnicity, all those variables. So if you need to get a list, call me, we can help you with that. But target as best as you can for your list, okay? Now, another thing we recommend, I always give my clients are some flow charts, or I love checklists to make sure I don't leave anything off. But we want your direct mail campaign to be a success. And if it's also tied to like an event or a web page promotion or something, we want that to be successful too. So, you know, not only do we say, okay, who's going to get the mail list to Paul? Who's going to get the art to Paul? Well, who's going to get the venue? Who's going to do the food? Who's going to do the follow-up? Let's say you're doing a 5K run as a nonprofit, as a fundraiser. Well, we're going to do a mail out about it, but you have to secure the venue. You have to do the food. Who's going to make sure there's an ambulance there in case somebody, you know, what about the legal issues? This flow chart will help you, especially you nonprofits. Most nonprofits have one person wearing 15 hats, and then you got a bunch of volunteers. Well, give this flow chart to volunteers and have you do this, you do this, you do this. So all of these things will get done correctly. This next flow chart is if you have a Brent-only campaign that may be tied to, you know, personal landing pages. Well, we got a flow chart for that too, a little checklist. And finally, this little tool here is, again, I can email you all these documents. It's an Excel spreadsheet that will keep you on time and on budget. Okay? So use these tools with your direct mail campaign. It'll save you a lot of frustration and headache and make sure everything is a success. So now we're going to start moving towards tips to improve your response rate. Number one thing you can do is keep your list clean and updated. Here at Walker 360, every mailing we do, we take your mailing list and we run it through delivery point validation. We run it through CAS certification, coding accuracy support system, and we also run it through NCOA, which is National Change of Address. And if you notice there, I just described the features and not the benefits of updating your list. Who cares about DPV, NCOA, and CASS? Well, what do those do? Well, we can identify bad addresses on your list and the reason why they flunked. And we can give those back to you. Hey, this is why we think this address is bad. You can correct that now, okay? And then also, we give you a list of the codes. This record flunked because of reason 21. Well, what's reason 21? And we tell you, incorrect address, number is bad. And then we also can find people who have moved on your list. So if Paul used to live in, say, Copperfield, and now he lives in Wind Lakes, we have his new Wind Lakes address, and we'll send that back to you, and you can update your master file that way. Okay? So if you have 1,000 records on your mailing list, 70 of them are bad and 30 of them are moved, and you're mailing either standard class or nonprofit, the post office throws those away if the name on there does not match the recipients. Unless you have what's called an ancillary service endorsement piece, that's an instruction to the carrier that says return service requested, address service requested, forwarding service requested. So keep your database clean. Less wasted printing, less wasted postage, better return on investment. Okay? Now, another thing that you can use to increase your response rate is use a teaser. What is a teaser? Well, on the outside of the envelope, you'll have a message on it that'll say, like, 3 things to never tell an Alabama fan. Well, I got to see what that says. I got to open that up. And once you increase the open rate of a mail piece, you're going to be able to increase your response rate. So there's some ideas. Your teaser can, create urgency, can pique curiosity. There's a whole bunch of different goals, and there's a list of those right there. The second thing you can do is use what's called a Johnson box. There's a marketing guy, his last name was Johnson, but they named this Johnson box at him. And his idea is to put a box right there at the top of your letter that, boom, hits the recipient right out of the box, so to speak. Here's what I want you to do. Here's the benefits. Here's the offer. Here's the call to action. That's what I want you to do. And then the rest of the letter references back. So that has been shown to increase response rates. Use a Johnson box if you can. Another thing you can do to increase response rate is to use what's called a lift note. What is a lift note? Well, it's an additional letter that's put in with a direct mail marketing piece. So let's say you're an executive director of a nonprofit. You write a letter for an appeal wanting donations, and you sign it. And then you get another person you put another letter in there on a different color sheet, different size sheet, maybe a different fold on it, and it's signed by somebody different. For example, let's say that children's home we referenced earlier. They get Nick Saban to put a note in there that says, whether you're an Alabama fan or an Auburn fan, it doesn't really matter. This is a great charity to donate to. Please consider making a donation. Signed, Nick Saban. That is called a lift note. And it's called a lift note because it lifts your response rate. So that's another idea. Hopefully you can implement lift notes into your marketing campaigns. Another idea is called freemiums. How many of you have gotten these in the mail? These address labels. Hey, is our free gift. Keep these return address labels from the March of Dimes or Children's Hospitals. This one is from St. Jude Children's Hospital. That is known in the industry as a front-end premium. And there's also back-end premiums, but collectively they're called freemiums. So basically, you're giving something to them on the front end in hopes that they will give you a donation back. So, you know, these labels, keep these labels as our free gift. And then on the back end, say, if you donate or order, we will send you this backpack or this ring or this photo of the animal you adopted or whatever. Again, so front end premium, offer back end premium. They're both called freemiums. They really help boost your response rates. Another thing you could do is interactive devices or an involvement device. How many of you gotten something that's got a little scratch off on it? And you got to get a coin out and you got to do that. Well, I used to mail for a casino and we'd put $25 in free play and then cover it up with a scratch off. And the people got those and they would scrape that thing off and man, they would be gone to the casino. You had like 80% redemption rate on those. Of course, once they spent their $25 in free play, they didn't go home. They stayed there and spent more money. Some of them won, most of them didn't. But that was a great interactive device that boosted the response rate and got people there. And you know, you can actually make that offer only good on your slowest night. Say it's a Tuesday or whatever. So anyway, freemiums and interactive devices. And this one's just common sense. This tip is make it easy to respond. How many of you have gotten something in the mail and they want you to tear off something and mail it back, but they don't perforate it? They got a little picture here. Go get this and cut on the dotted line. That's what we call an obstacle. You are creating obstacles to them responding. So now I'm about to write a donation check, but now I've got to go find a pair of scissors. And now that's the obstacle. Comes back, phone rings, he gets distracted. Then you come back and then you say, mail it back to us, but you don't provide them an envelope. Obstacle. Okay? Or you don't pay the postage for them to come back. Some of you can't do that, I understand, but and then there's only one way to respond. It's a generational thing sometimes. Older, more mature people are not going to give you their credit card and go online and donate. But they'll write you a check and put it in an envelope and mail it to you. So give people multiple ways to respond. Phone, fax, if anybody uses a fax anymore. Direct mail, use an envelope, go online, send an email, these kind of things. So give them lots of ways to respond on your direct mail campaign. And another thing that's really cool with the technology we can do here is use variable data printing. We can actually write people's names in the lights in a building. We can write their names in watermelon seeds. We can put their name in the sky, write it in clouds. I mean, we can write their name in a spots on a cow. So if you do a mailing, every single mail piece is custom. And the more you can get people to touch, feel, and tactile interaction with your mail piece, the greater likelihood that they're going to respond. Okay? So you can also use variable data printing in conjunction with variable data imaging and variable offering. So for example, let's say you are a high-end spa, you have a golf course and nice restaurants and massage parlor or whatever. And at this resort, you're trying to get people to come back. They're following the 40-40-20 rule. We have a good list. We're going to send a great offer. We know that the last time the man was here, the husband played golf. So we're going to send him a picture with his name written on a golf ball. Free round of golf with a 3-night stay. And we know that his spouse got a massage. So we're going to give her a free massage with another 3-night stay. So that's variable image, variable data, variable offer based on what you know about your client. So those are really shown. Variable data, printing, imaging, and offering can really boost response rates. So another thing we encourage you to do is to take advantage of what we call triggering events. What are trigger events? Well, these are things that are excuses or opportunities to get in front of your client. This is just a calendar of events. For example, last week or two ago was National Cheese Pizza Day. And I didn't see a single franchise it was on like a Tuesday or Wednesday too. I would have been promoting the heck out of that. Hey, buy one, get one free cheese pizza, only on National Cheese Pizza Day. And they would have probably blown the doors off. But you can go through this list and find something that's relevant. They got financial, education, consumer safety. All of these events on here are triggering events that you can use as an opportunity to get in front of your client. So take advantage of those. Also, we have a list here of proven methods and proven mail pieces that I can email you how to win friends and make money using printing and postage. So, you know, acquisition package, mail them a welcome kit, thank you letter, newsletter, annual report, survey, questionnaire, all these type things that you can mail. And if you run out of ideas, that may help you. Okay, so finally, at Walker 360, we kind of encourage people to integrate their direct mail campaigns with other marketing efforts. And one way that we can do that is through mail piece tracking. So with mail piece tracking, you can say, all right, I want to send them a text message after my mail piece gets delivered. Well, how do you know it gets delivered? Well, we track it and we can tell you when it gets delivered. And once that piece is delivered, you can deploy your email campaign or your text message campaign or a phone call. So this allows you to integrate, see who's responding. You can anticipate incoming revenue if you know when the mail piece gets delivered. You can trigger or cancel other communications. Just more opportunities to respond. So this, collectively, you have a better chance of getting a new customer if you can integrate all of your marketing campaign efforts. So anyway, just a quick review. I know it's a lot of information, kind of a download, but find, win, keep, grow. Use direct mail to do that. And use a creative brief, follow the 40-40-20 rule, keep your list clean, target using really good lists, use teasers, use lift notes, use freemiums, use interactive devices, make it easy to respond, variable data printing, use triggering events, and use these proven methods that we can help you with and integrate your marketing campaigns. So I appreciate the opportunity to convey this information to you, and if you got any questions, I'll be glad to take them now. Thank you so much.